Hi, it's Janet and welcome to my channel. This is where you can be inspired, learn new techniques, and pick up some new tips and tricks. Get started by subscribing and clicking on the bell. Hello everybody, it's Janet and welcome to my channel. Well, today I'm going to be using 3 products from Art Impressions. I'm going to start with this cute little hedgehog from the Feast Mode set. And I'm also going to be using this sentiment, may your life be filled with thanks and giving. I really like that sentiment. I'm also going to be using the ShadowBox Windows die, which is specifically made really for the Windows on the World stamp series, which has these little scenes you can put behind the windows. But the purpose of this project is to show you can use things like this little hedgehog in these windows as well. So you're not limited to just the Windows in the World series. I'm also going to be using that rectangle double stitch die set in this card. So let's begin. So this is the ShadowBox piece in the ShadowBox die set for the Windows to the World. And you can see there are 2 score lines on each side of this. I'm going to just fold over the one that's closest to the center on each side. And that area between the 2 folds is where we're going to stamp. So I've pulled out the hedgehog from the Feast Mode set, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp him. I put a little bit of scratch paper at the bottom of it because he's just slightly bigger. So his little feet are going to go off the image. And that scratch sheet is just to protect my nice clean sticky sheet in my MISTI. I saw that I needed a little bit more image on the right side of it, so I just stamped that area one more time, and then it's ready at that point to start coloring. So this next segment is going to be me using my Copic markers to color this cute little image. It's really pretty simple. There's about 3 browns and a warm gray to color him up. And if you want to know the exact Copic marker colors I used, you can find that in my blog post. And you can find the link to my blog post in the video description. So please feel free to go over there and check it out so that you can find out what I used. But for now, I'm going to step away and play some fun music and let you guys enjoy. Well, now that the image is colored, I'm going to move on to the front of the card. This is a paper pad from P13 called The 4 Seasons, and this one is called, of course, Autumn. And it has some really pretty papers in it, and I got this last year, but of course there's still plenty in this pad, so I'm going to use it for this card. This side's pretty too, isn't it? But I cannot resist this beautiful pattern on the front. And I'm going to use this to nest my window in so that you just get a lot of visual beauty here. So this is the die from the ShadowBox Windows to the World, and this is the opening that's going to cut for the window itself. So first thing you do is actually cut the window, but I'm just kind of positioning it around to see where I think it should go. And before I secure it, I'm going to bring in my T-square and just kind of make sure I have it pretty straight. And then once I have that, I'll just use a couple pieces of washi tape to secure it. And then I'm going to run it through my big shot. So it's all done as far as being cut, that is, and I'm going to take this out. Now there are 2 layers of cardstock, if you recall. It's your card base and that decorative paper, so it did cut through that pretty nicely. And now I'm going to do these other folds. There's another fold on each side of the shadow box piece. Creates kind of a zigzag fold on each end, and this is necessary in order for it to be held a little bit back from the opening. So what I find is the easiest thing is to position this piece before I put on the frame of the window, and then just do one side first to begin with. Just make sure that that side is straight as possible. You can see I kind of straightened it up and looked inside there to see that that looked even, and then I'm going to fold it over, because of course we want to fold this flat when we mail it, so it's important to make sure it can fold flat, and it just takes a little bit of working back and forth to make sure that it is correct. And then you can kind of see that you know, your picture is in the right place according to the window opening. And if you just test this out and make sure everything works, it will of course fold nice and flat. Now I'm going to cut the window out of this knock on wood patterned pad from Lawn Fawn. I don't know if they still make this pad. They might. If they do, I'll try to put a link there for you. It's a few years old now, but it's got such pretty wood patterned paper in it. It's not realistic wood, you know, it's cartoonish in a way, but it's still really pretty and lots of different fall colors. So this just requires a little glue around the edge of the frame, and it will fit perfectly on top, or around actually, the opening cut by that square die. And then you can test it and just make sure again that everything is straight, looks good. And there's our cute little hedgehog peeking through our window. I'm going to put this back into my MISTI, and it's a good thing this lays flat at this point, because I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. This is again from the Feast Mode set. And one of the reasons that I picked this particular paper is not only because it is so beautiful, but there's also a nice little space left under the window for me to put in the sentiment that I wanted. And it's a really nice one. May your life be filled with thanks and giving. And I really like that. So I did that in black Memento ink. It looks a little funny because there's a lot of room there now, but I am putting that window box underneath the window, and that's going to take up some of that room that looks a little awkward at first. And I've got that on double-sided foam tape, by the way, just so it stands up a little bit and gives it some more dimension. Very cute. Loving how that's turned out. I'm going to add a few glass beads here. I guess they're called dewdrops, I don't know. But they're basically just melted little glass pieces that add a little shine. And I've got some brown and clear going there. And then I cut another piece of white cardstock just to cover up all my Copic coloring that seeped through. It's just kind of unsightly. So this little piece will cover most of it, and it really helps a lot to make the card look finished and, again, nice and neat. And that's going to wrap it up for me on this card. I hope you enjoyed seeing how you can use this ShadowBox die for other stamps besides the Windows on the World. So you've got lots of options with that die. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am really happy to be here with you. And I hope that if you enjoyed this, you will give me a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So I'll say goodbye for now, but I'll be back soon with a new video. Take care, everybody.